Okay, hi everyone. This is Krista. I've got Tucker here today. Hopefully, if this records, this will be my first ride for my training journal. Tucker is a little slippery, which is a good thing because I am recovering from a broken hand. My doctor wanted me to wear this thing on my hand, but it is impossible to do anything with the horses. It's protective, so I don't have it on. Today, we're gonna just work and see if my Pivo works good. Because the last time I tried to record my ride, something happened and I lost the entire thing. It just froze up and I tried to reboot my phone and I lost it. So today, we will be working on just stretching basics. I haven't ridden him for a while. He was off a little bit. He seems to be doing better today on the left front. We're going to work on contact, stretching, and basics. And I have my Rode mic. We'll see if that works too. You look a little tired, buddy. I did trot him around a little bit, make sure he was feeling comfortable under the saddle. So it's going to be a pretty chill ride, hopefully, unless he spooks or does something crazy. But hopefully that won't happen. Okay, so here we go. Do I have the lunge line? Oh, here. Okay, because Tucker is, sometimes he can be a little volatile. He seemed like he was doing just perfectly today. But because he does get to be a little volatile sometimes, and the fact that I'm recovering from an injury, I am going to lunge him a little bit more. We did go around. He's a little humpy with the saddle on originally, and I haven't ridden him for a while, so I just want to get him doing walk, trot, canter. I'm going to see if I can here, let me go get a lunge whip here, a lunge whip. I do notice that my hand is not totally healed yet because when I hold the lunge whip in my left hand, it still hurts. So I have to be careful or my doctor is going to scream at me. She already knows that I'm not always behaving. So, okay. So he looks pretty mellow here, but I just want to make sure he's nice and loose over his back because he was a little humpy and originally, so we'll do that first at all 3/8, and then I'll just work with him under saddle. I mean, he seems pretty mellow right this second. He's silly. Okay, buddy. Okay, so walk out. I'm gonna, just a little bit more. And he needs to get out a bigger circle here. This lunge line is a little too big and awkward for me. I like them a little bit lighter and smaller. Maybe I should just use a dressage whip. Okay. Okay, trot. Come on, trot. So he looks a little bit more, yeah, now he's moving a little bit more freer over the back. Still not super great fluid movement. Be nice if he was a little bit out. Okay, can you canter? Canter. Yeah, I think he'll be all right. Let's see the other side. Okay. I'm not the world's greatest lunger, and I'm pretty uncoordinated. with my broken hand and having a lunge line. I don't like having a big, long lunge whip. It's just too awkward for me. Okay guys, safety thing here. What is happening with my Pivo? It just decided it was going to go to the corner. Okay, well, I'm not going to pay attention to it right now. I'm just going to work with my lunge line here, but I did do it accordion style, if you can see this, so I wouldn't have a loop to get my hand caught in it. At least I can do that much. Like I said, I am not the USDF master of lunging here by any means. Come on, get your shoulder out. So normally when I do this, I like to point the lunge whip at the shoulder so that the horse is bent in the direction of the circle. So he has equal pressure on all four legs. And if you need a reference for that, I did a video on my horse Wiley on working with his navicular issues and how I try to get him to bend around the circle on the lunge line if I'm lunging him. Okay, so trot. This is his bad direction. Tends to be a little irregular on the side sometimes. It's pretty good today. I'm gonna have to fix his bridle, it's lopsided. And canter, canter. There. So he looks pretty good now. He's a little bit more fluid actually than when I first started, just on the lunge line. So I'm a little happy about that. Happier. And then we're gonna go back. Come here, Bubba's. Okay. I'll put this up so he doesn't look like a dork. And I probably won't even work with a whip today because I really just want to do some basic stuff. So if you see these little rings on his bridle, I used to ride him in a German martingale because he would hold his head up really high. I thought it was a good way to prevent him, to control him if he bolted or spooked, but I found out that that didn't happen because he still was able to buck me off with the German martingale on. So I'm just riding him. Usually when at home I just ride him this way anyway. I don't have a lot of devices on him. I really don't like devices. The only time I would actually even consider them is if I was having a real problem, and then I probably shouldn't even be riding. If that's the case, I should probably just do groundwork, so better work without them. I'll try to work a little bit on my position today as well, where I'm even in both seat bones and that my alignment is good on both sides. I tend to have a chair seat on the right side because I'm very weak on that side. I'm left-handed. And then I have good position on the left side, but then I tend to slide a bit to the left regardless of what horse I'm on, because that side is so much stronger than my right side, except for my broken hand, which happened on the left side as well. Okay, so I'm gonna get on him. Like I said, we're gonna just basically walk around. I'm not gonna do too much. I don't want to canter him today because one time I had an abrupt halt and I slammed my injured hand into his, come on, up. This is an arrogant what thing comes in mind. Okay. Okay, so here we go. So I'm just gonna walk him around and really get him to try to connect with the bridle here. I tend to hold my reins a little bit wide, my hands wide. And connect with the seat bones. And, you know, I can do a little flexion. I like to do pole flexion, but I really want him to just get to stretch here. I'm going to let him go as far as he wants with his nose. He tends to hold a lot of stress up in his pole area, and he keeps it locked. Like, I don't have any rein contact. I'm trying to keep the reins. Just his head like really arched. Come on, you need to walk up a little bit more. There you go. Maybe I should have had the whip. Just a little slow here. There we go. Come on, a little bit more. So with these horses, these young spooky horses, he's not young, he's 9, but he still acts kind of young. How do you get him to go? And he's not really going. You know, the more they are not forward and not off the leg, the more ability they have to spook and bolt and do silly things. So you just need to keep them going forward. Forward into, probably should have got a I haven't weirded him so long I kind of forgot that he does need a little bit of motivation sometimes. The more you hold them back, the more claustrophobic they get and sticky. But here we go. We're trying to get him to move off the leg a little bit, and he's not very responsive to the leg. There we go. I don't wear spurs on him because if he bolts, I don't know if I'm gonna like accidentally snag him. So that's why I don't wear spurs. And this horse can be very, very forward when he wants to be. Right now he's just being a little lazy. There. I'm glad he's actually, I'm actually glad he's kind of rooting, because when I first got him, he would not stretch at all into the contact at all. So at least now he's got a little bit more connection. I'm going to bring him up a little bit here. So when I bring him up, a lot of times he gets really arched and really, and actually I love this. I actually love the fact that he is poking his nose out because he used to not do that at all. He was like always behind the bit. Yeah, so this is much better. And we're going to try a little walk and halts. So I really try to follow his face. Oops, now he started curling his neck a bit. Ran into the contact, then he lets go. So he'll go, and he'll poke his head out and root, and then he goes behind the bit. And I'd rather actually have him connected onto the bit like this. Yeah. Just because I want a horse in my hands. I don't like feeling like I'm riding a headless horse. Okay, so I'm going to halt him. So that actually was a pretty good halt. He's not behind the bit. I don't know how square he is. Another thing, he just kind of acts a little bit discombobulated sometimes. I'm going to let him go. Get a little bit more stretchy here. All the way down. And then I'm going to bend him, you know, really get the shoulder going. Sometimes I think he gets locked up in his shoulders and then he cannot, you know, that affects his throughness. So the shoulders kind of affect the pole. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and do this kind of counter flex thing to get him to stretch this outside shoulder a bit. Okay. And I don't do this too much. He's got a pretty good mindset right now. He doesn't seem like he's being opinionated or obstinate. You know, I don't want to do too much with him because he does get his opinions. There we go. Stretch. That's a boy. Oh. Okay, good. Wash out my hands. We tend to write in paws alive, especially when I write in my hands like that. Doesn't. Come on, you gotta move the shoulder around, buddy. You're not even moving at all. a little more bend here. Or flex. And it's a little sticky. I'm going to go ahead and do like little teeny circles here and really get him to bend these shoulders. And then this way, bend the shoulder on this side. Ugh. Come on, Bubbas. There you go. Good boy. Good boy. A little resistant on this side, I feel. Let's see if I can do the counter flex. Okay, good. I'll do another bend to the right and then counter flex to the left. Feels a little sticky through the left side here. There we go. I'm going to try to keep my head up. Okay, so he's real sticky through this side. He does not want to move the no. So, okay. We're going to do a little bit of drunken pony here. Where I'm doing some really big leg yields. Just feels stiff a little bit on the left side. Okay, so I'm letting him stretch all the way to the ground. Come on. Just does not. Just to wake up the hind end a bit. Come on, buddy. And then we're going to do a little drunken pony here. There you go. Good. And then, so this is kind of a bendy leg yield. I'm trying to control the outside shoulder a little bit because with my other horse, I notice that I tend to get a lot of neck bend, not a lot of body bend. But their necks are more flexible than their bodies. Here again. And I'm just going to let him have a nice stretch all the way to the end of the rein here. My reins are pretty loose. There's not a real great connection. Again, just the shoulders. You can kind of tell it bothers him because, ow, I'll have to do that. He has a lot of flippiness in the tail. Okay, and then we do it on the side again. Okay. All right, so that one was actually, well, it's not getting the hindquarters off. That's why I kind of like working with a whip with him. So, okay, so I'm going to just trot him around a bit. I'm just bored. Okay, really? Oops. Nope. Yeah, so here you can see he does not take real great contact with the reins. Trying to keep him back up. This can be a bad thing when he spooks because I have no control. Yeah, he's just really curly through the neck. See if I can do a little bit of a leg yield. This is probably not the best thing to be doing sitting trot here, but sometimes I just feel like I need to connect the body. It gets a really, there we go. There, okay, so it's a little softer on the reins. That's why I do a lot of sitting trot, because I feel like he cannot get his hind end. Front end moves, the hind end does not. Okay, good. I'm going to do a little shoulder 4 here. These things a little bit of inattentive. So I like to do shoulder 4. Keep him focused on the inside and on me. And he wants to canter, which I don't want him to canter. Let's do a little bit of a I'm glad he wants to canter. Sometimes he does not. Easy. Okay. There we go. A little bit slower. The tempo. I'm posting counterprotective when it comes to getting the horse roll through and relax, but I want to stay safe as possible. Okay, there we go. And I'm just going to let him, we're just going to do a little drunken pony on the circle here. There we go. Back down. And oops. So pause to itch his foot. Not my favorite thing for him to be doing, but there we go. There. So I like him when he breathes like that. That's a good thing. Nice. I'll try to slow the posting just a bit. See if I can slow his tempo a little bit. And try a little drunken pony down here. Really slow trot. It's going to build up his hind end. Not connect very well to the reins. There we go. Good boy. Good boy. Good. Good job. Good. All right, I'm going to walk him a little bit. Give us both a break. Try to get him to stretch a bit on the through. We want to work on this top line, getting him to stretch, build this top line all the way from that. I want it from the tail to the pole. So again, he tends to get a little too flexed in the pole. Locks it up a little bit. You know, we have worked with a chiropractor with him as well. And that has helped because he was really locked up in the pole and he probably had something, you know, going on in there, and that's why he could not release and really stretch through that neck. No, I don't want you to itch your foot. Come on. Go forward. Okay, sometimes I just have to not let him do what he wants to do, but he's pretty insistent. Okay, go forward. That's a boy. That's a boy. Good boy. So I'm keeping my hands out. If anybody has any suggestions for me as far as the contact issue, if my elbows looked up, I am very open to constructive, nice criticism, as long as it's helpful. And, you know, sometimes I do lock my hands up, and that affects the connection I have with my horses. And I lock my hips up too, and that affects the connection I have with my horses. And, you know, I try to keep a nice strong core and stable, especially in a horse that has a history of spooking like Mr. Tucker does. So I can stay on if he does that. But sometimes it gets me a little tense in my joints, and then he feels it, and it's like a vicious circle. Okay, you want to, okay, go ahead. Do whatever. I'm going to try to get this out of his system so he doesn't have to feel like this is why I don't put boots on him. Because I thought what the boots were doing this, but apparently it's just him. Whatever he's going through, you know, maybe he's just being spoiled, or maybe he generally feels like he needs to itch something. So what I'm going to do a little bit now is work on a little bit of transitions from the to the halt. So he needs to get a little bit splayed out during his halts. And I want to get him a pretty nice connected halt. And good boy. We can do this a little bit at the trot too. Just relax. And then we'll just walk into the halt. Good. Okay. So as you can see, he tends, when I start doing transitions, he tends to get a little bit sucked back and go back into his behind the bit. And try to give him forward, and then I'll just try to do a nice easy halt. There we go. Good. And forward. Yeah, he gets on. Got the fire department going. Just go on. then I just walk easily into the halt. So I can't do a lot of abrupt transitions with him. Oh, because he just gets a little sticky. So, you know, I can only go so far, and then I have to give him a mental break, mental health break. So the Pivo seems to be tracking me pretty good today. I think maybe I got lost at once or twice. I don't know. I'm probably going to end the session soon. He's not really, it's not like he worked very hard, but, and he's still a little bit tense. But he just takes a lot of time because he has a lot of opinions. And what I've learned, at least by what I've worked with him, I can't push him too much. If I push him too much, it just becomes a freaking disaster. I've tried it. It usually ends up getting me hurt. But, okay, so we'll try a little bit on this side, see if I can get him a little bit. There. And again, I'm gonna try to walk him and go into the halt. Halt. Good. Try one more, and then we'll just do some stretchy trot to end. We'll just keep around the Pivo device. That was actually pretty nice, I thought. We'll see in the video. So, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get him stretching really nice here at the end. He's a little bit locked up still, you know. If I wanted to really work him a little bit harder, I probably could get him a little bit more through and fluid. Probably wasn't the best workout, but you can see Pivo worked. There we go. Good boy. Good job. So most of my work with this horse is just to get him to stretch forward and down and relax. We're going to go the other way. This is pretty nice trot here for him. Good boy. Okay, I'm going to go past the Pivo here. See, hopefully it'll track me. I'm going to go pretty close here. And then we go this way. Wasn't great from the left to the right, but I don't care. Okay. And again, I'm going to try to get him to really stretch. You know, if I can get him really moving, there we go. That's a little bit better. That's nice. And he can move pretty well. Okay. I'm going to just slow him down. Use mostly the core. Okay, guys. I think that's going to be it for me on Tucker today. You know, like I'm healing. If I looked a little stressed myself, I didn't feel that stressed, but yeah, his antics do affect the way I feel. I'm a pretty good rider, but still, I do get nervous with him sometimes. He did pretty good. He didn't feel really through, but like I said, I'm not really pushing it because of my hand. Don't want to get re-injured. And I think it was a pretty good ride. I mean, nothing horrible happened. He didn't spook. He was a little inattentive at times, and when he does that, I just put him into a shoulder 4 to try to get his focus back on me. instead of whatever he wants to focus on. And we have the fire department out there with blaring lights and sirens and stuff. So I think he did pretty good. I'm pretty proud of him today, since I hadn't ridden him for a couple weeks. And that's it. Thank you for watching. So if you're new to this channel, this is my riding journal. And I'm going to experiment with this and just throw the videos up there, but basically they're unedited. There's a couple of things that I want to accomplish with this. One, it's actually personally for my benefit, because if I put it on YouTube, I can access this, this footage anywhere, and I can study my own riding. Two, I'm hoping maybe I can get some input by the people that make Pivo, which is the device I'm using to track my riding. You know, because sometimes I struggle with that. Sometimes my horses are good and the Pivo is not. The last time I completely lost my ride, so I wasn't real happy there. It was a really nice ride too. Usually when my horse is stressed and not behaving right, Pivo works fine. And when my Pivo is stressed, my horses work great. So anyways, today was kind of a, the Pivo worked pretty good, I think, as long as it keeps recording and doesn't lock me out. He was pretty good too. He wasn't too bad. Ideally, I would like to get him a little bit more through and forward. I think the next time I will ride with a whip, just so I can tap him and remind him that he needs to connect and use his hind end. But this was a pretty good ride. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.